Hey everyone, welcome back. I don't normally like to start out videos by apologizing, but I am a little sick today, so if I sound a little stuffy, that would be why. I've successfully avoided being sick all last year, and, well, it finally caught up with me, unfortunately. Anyway, today I wanted to walk you through the planner that I'm using, singular, for 2020. I have done like a flip through in pictures on my Instagram, and you might hear Emma in the background. She's decided she's going to play with something. It's probably a stuffed panda. Anyway, so I've switched over to this at the very end of 2019, and so far so good. I am, as of December, back out of the personal size rings and into the standard or narrow size traveler's notebook. This is a Foxy Fix in Boss Babe Madison leather. In the month of December, I was in the red color, and I don't remember now what it was called, but I like this leather. It's very buttery, it's very soft and smooth, so, and it has some heft to it as well. So, kind of how I have things set up, I just have minimal deco stuck in various places. It's not really deco, it's I have a to-do list pad, a portion of what I got from Cocoa Daisy. I have these clear ID cards that I will stick little small bits of Post-it notes on, so I have Post-it notes. And my first insert has, as usual, a Foxy Fix dashboard wrapped around it. Pretty much all of my deco is from Cocoa Daisy, so if something is different, I will let you know otherwise. First section, as usual, is my month on 2 pages. So the way, these are from my shop, Kendra Bork Printables, but the first page in front of the month is a master task list. And then the page after is kind of an index of important information. So if something happened that month that I want to make a note of, so if I have to refer back to it, I can. I have a spot for that. Otherwise, this is kind of standard month on 2 pages, I guess. I have these lines indicating when I'm traveling or when my husband is in town. So that's kind of how everything is set up. The gray ones are work travel or like not travel back to see my husband. And I do have stuff in here all the way through December. So that is the first insert. On the back side, because this next one is kind of my tracker insert, I guess you could call it, I have a morning and evening routine kind of revamp that I'm experimenting with. I have it tucked in here so I can see it. I am trying to figure out how to keep my house a little bit cleaner than it has been, but with minimal effort. And a lot of the things that I've talked about before, Clean Mama, motivated moms, they work well, but I need to kind of start over again because it's the basics that I need to find time for. So this is kind of a combination of stuff. So this is kind of her morning and evening kind of daily routine, and then I have revamped some of the weekly stuff to incorporate the Clean Mama version. And once I feel like I've got this under control, then I'll kick back over into the Motivated Moms cleaning routine, which she actually now has an app, which I've put some of this stuff in there, so I'm still using the app because that way I can check stuff off. But anyway, so that's a long-winded way to say this is kind of my morning and evening routines. As I mentioned, this next section is the tracker. This is one that Ink Imperfections designed, and Paper and Cats kind of put it together for her. This is available on Paper and Cats Etsy store. So there's kind of a daily tracker section, which I think we're on the 4th now. I actually have done stuff, I just have not checked it off yet. There's a weekly section, a monthly section, and then a spot for projects. So this is what a blank month looks like. Over here on the side, I mainly keep track of like if I'm going to be out of town, so that if there's a swath of blank space, I kind of understand why, looking back at it. So that's my second book. Third book is my reference section. This has not changed from months past. I have values, my rule of life. I think I might have moved this up to the front. It used to be in the back. 2020 goals, prioritizing questions, home and work routines. So I have not incorporated this into here yet. This is kind of something I'm working on, and if it works well and I kind of get it down, then I'll put it in here. So some of this is duplicated. It's in both places, but anyway, weekly routine. These are all of my checklists for when I'm doing planner reviews. In the paperclip section, I have a phone list for people at the office and my budget page. And then I have checklists for pre-trip and post-trip stuff. This notebook here is actually a Hobonichi Weeks notebook. It's very thin, few pieces of paper, but I do want to use this kind of as a continuation of reference information. Collections, things like that you normally find in a bullet journal, things that I don't want to have to keep reprinting. This stuff does change periodically, so I don't mind reprinting it. If it's just something I'm referring to, that's what I will put in here. So I just had some ideas written down on a post-it note: monthly expenses, video ideas, video schedule. If I wanted to do a commonplace book, which I've decided not to do that here, mostly because if I'm going to write down quotes and things, I want to be able to find them again. So I'm doing something different. I'm putting them on 4x6 cards, and they're not organized at the moment, but they will be at some point when I have enough to put them in separate categories. But that's actually where I'm keeping quotes and things that I want to refer to in the future, and then other collections that I might want to have: books, movies, TV series, things like that. The 5-year planner, which people ask me about quite a bit. This is from Anthology Notes on Etsy. Now, people are like, you plan 5 years ahead? So honestly, what this is it tracks, I have birthdays in here, I have movable holidays, so things like Easter and Thanksgiving that change from year to year, and then I have the work conferences that also change from year to year. So every year in March, I go to DC to the National Apartment Association national meetings as well as Lobby Day, so that changes every single year. The June conference and meetings, they change locations every single year, and usually it's around the 3rd week of June, but sometimes it's sooner, so I keep track of when and where that is. And then the National Apartment Association Assembly of Delegates meetings. Those change locations every year as well as dates. So it's nice to kind of know ahead of time where I might be. So looking ahead to 2021, I'll be in Chicago in June, hopefully, and my husband's family is from there. So I know ahead of time, maybe we want to try and plan a trip to see his family at the same time. So that's why I keep this information in here, is just so I kind of have an idea of where I might be sometime in the future. And our local rental housing association will be hosting the National Education Conference in 2022. Again, something I might want to know and keep track of. So that's the sort of stuff I plan 5 years out. It's not like I'm making definite plans. It's more of keeping track of kind of really high level stuff that I might want to know. All right, so this next book is my goal tracking insert, again from my shop. So this was a combination of the Momentum Planner from Productive Flourishing and kind of the tending list idea from Power Sheets. So I have an annual overview with quarterly information here, that I have a Q1 overview, which repeats the annual goals, the quarterly objectives, and then I can break it down by the months in each quarter. There's a monthly page, which obviously I have not broken down things by week yet. I kind of got sick right around the beginning. Well, actually, I guess it was, well, it's only the 4th, so it is still the beginning of the month. So I got sick a couple days ago, and have not been feeling up to doing too much. So shortly, I'll be breaking down kind of my monthly objectives by week, so that I kind of have an idea of what I need to do to move my goals forward for the year, move my annual goals forward. So this is probably the newest part. So I am using, I'll go ahead and pull this out, a Hobonichi Weeks. And I do just have it tucked in the back pocket there. It kind of makes my planner stuffed, but I'm only using the front 3 strings. You can see there's 1 extra string here, so it fits in just fine. There's a little extra room on the top and the side, but that's not a big deal. Mostly because then I have room for my pen and it doesn't smush the tabs and all that jazz. So I just keep some of the Cocoa Daisy Hobonichi, or the week stickers, tucked in the front, as well as days of the week, and I'll show you where those get used. I haven't done a ton of deco in the front, and I'm not really using so much of the front pages. I thought about using the months, but I like having the months in this front booklet here because it's a bigger space. So this may actually become more of a content calendar. I have not decided on that yet, but anyway. And yes, I am using more stickers than you're used to seeing, at least on the weekly pages. It's one of those things, you know, why not? But I have decided kind of as I've been playing with them that this is very busy for me, and so I don't know that I necessarily like all the stickers like this. Kind of as you get back here, the colors are more muted and it's easier for me to see stuff. So I like the layout idea, but the dark colors are not working for me. This week wasn't so bad. I think it's just when there's a lot of black that it's overwhelming, kind of like this week also. Anyway, I just basically keep track of major events and things here, potentially things that have to be done on that day. I have a spot here because I've been tracking weather with these stickers, which I may or may not keep doing. I live in Southern California and honestly we don't get weather that much, so I may leave the room open for other things and just write down the temperature ranges to expect. The spot for this week, I don't have a sticker down, but usually I have a to buy section in here, so like things I come across that I need to purchase at the grocery store while I'm out on errands. I have a section for meal planning and then a tracker for my dog's eye medicine. So you'll see it's kind of the same format going forward. I like being able to see the month, the week number, and then this little mini calendar here at the bottom, so I'm only putting stickers in these 2 areas here. So that is the front section, and then in the back what I'm doing is a daily bullet journal. So it's kind of the same idea as a little bit of what I was doing in the Planner Perfect notebooks. It's just divided front and back, but I did like having a week overview and then a daily page. So essentially that's how I'm using these stickers, which I printed, oh gosh, I don't remember. They were printable from somewhere. I'll look it up. It was a store on Etsy, but I'll link it down below. In the left column, then I'm writing down the actual date. And then if I do a weekly review, I just have a whole column. But I like having this section here with the date because it makes it easier to find things. I had my gift list and kind of the budget I was working with for Christmas. And then what I've done is I've taken a packaging thing from Cocoa Daisy and one of the cards, and I just washi taped them together, and I've just flipped it, or basically slide it over the page, and that's my bookmark. Because if I had just one page or one card that had a tab on top, but every time I pick it up and move things around, it would fall out. So this kind of keeps it a little more secure on the page. And then I do keep an extra piece of paper. You'll notice maybe, I don't know if you can see, there's like little tiny dots. I do use a gel pen in here, or not a gel pen, what am I saying? I'm using a fountain pen. This is the Pilot Vanishing Point Decimo. And so it's basically it's a fountain pen, but it's retractable. But with the amount of ink that it lays down, even though it's an extra fine nib, if I'm not careful, it will kind of transfer. So I just keep a piece of paper here, almost like a blotting paper, so that when I close the book, it's not transferring to other things. So that's kind of how this is set up. I actually am really enjoying this, and to be honest, I don't see myself changing out of it. I did originally buy a regular Hobonichi Weeks, and when I decided to use it this way, then I went back and bought a Mega. In the back here, where they have these pages that are in Japanese and it's not something I would ever use, I did get a couple of printables, a year in review for kind of like personal and shop goals. Mainly this is for my shop and for YouTube, and then also kind of a tracker for financial stuff for YouTube, Etsy, all that jazz, because I am really horrible about keeping track of things. And then like right now I'm scrambling and I have to go back and reassemble all of last year. You would think doing accounting for my job that it would not be that way, but it's kind of one of those things where I do it all day at the office and I don't want to do it when I get home. So anyway, I'm hoping these 2 pages will kind of keep me on track, and I'll keep these filled out so that I don't have to go back and do it all at one time at the end of the year. And I do have these Hobonichi Weeks little booklets come in a pack of 3. So what I have this one for is essentially kind of personal and shop/channel to-dos. If you've watched Ink Imperfections videos, she actually has a Tomoe River booklet, and she puts her to-do list in from the back, but because I'm planning on being in this a whole year, I wanted to have a separate little booklet that I can just tuck in here, because that way, if it's full, I can take it out, grab the other notebook that came with this, and I don't have to worry about using up pages that I end up using for the bullet journal. So anyway, that is that booklet. It is kind of bending the back cover a little bit with that tucked in, so I think it's a combination of this booklet and this one in the back cover here. So I'll probably play with that a little bit because I don't want to completely bend the back cover, because it didn't seem to be doing that when it was just in by itself. So I just have a pencil board tucked in, so what I might do is tuck that in there. That's actually not any better. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I don't want to have it on the strings because that will for sure damage the binding, but you can kind of see that back cover here is curving a little bit. So that's the only thing I have to figure out. I am supposed to be getting at some point a custom Vanderspec planner that's kind of modeled after the same one that Ink Imperfections ordered. Mine is just a little bit wider because I wanted it to be the same size as this, because I know things fit in here with very little overhang. So if I had anything shorter, I think stuff would hang out and I don't want it to get damaged. So that is that, and I just have the extra stickers for the kits I had been using tucked back here as well. So that is kind of my everyday carry. I just have there's a back pocket here, so I have a few pages stuck in the back. Just things I need to do something with. If you watched my planner videos, those have been there every single month. So there's that. So this is pretty much what I'm in 100% of the time. So this comes with me. I like this because it fits in my purse. And my purse is not very big, believe it or not, it actually still fits in. So other things that I'm using that are not necessarily planners, I am using a Write the Word journal. I just started a brand new one, actually December 31st, because I finished the other one just before the end of the year. So essentially with these, you get a Bible verse that you can write out and a section that says "On my heart today." Usually what I'm doing with this is I'm writing down notes either from the study Bible, or I'm going and looking up a Bible commentary by Matthew Henry and making notes about what has jumped out to me. And then there's some days that I just write the verse and that's it. I don't feel obligated that I have to fill everything up. So this is kind of what I'm doing during my quiet time. And then the other thing that I am working through, and this is actually after I heard Amy Landino talk about it on her channel. Long story, very short. Lots of things going on at the office right now, most of which I cannot control. And as a combination of being tired, lots of travel, being kind of out of my daily routine, I need an attitude readjustment. And she had talked about the Daily Stoic, which is essentially, it's like a daily they call it a daily meditation, but essentially it's a daily reading from one of the Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and kind of that group. So I have the Daily Stoic, and then I went ahead and bought the Daily Stoic journal, which has questions based on the daily reading. And then I bought a little A6 notebook. It's the Stalogy 365, and I'm just journaling in it. So rather than writing in here, in case I want to go back and use it again next year for some reason, which I might do, I haven't written in here, and I don't have previous year's answers distracting me from new thoughts. So I can go back and review them if I want, but they're not in my face when I go back and go through it again. So usually in the morning, I do the quiet time in the Write the Word journal, and then I take a little bit of time to read the daily page from the Daily Stoic, and then do a little journaling from the Daily Stoic journal. So this is what I'm doing. Honestly, everything is in this book. This is what I carry with me. This just sits at home on my desk. I have a little desk that I sit at in the mornings and drink my coffee, eat my breakfast, and be quiet, have my silent time in the morning, kind of get myself prepared for the day, because not only am I doing those things that I'm opening up my planner, seeing what I have written out, because a lot of times the night before I'll write something down as far as what my plans are for the following day. So I'm reviewing that, making sure that I remember all of the appointments that I have, and then making notes on things that I need to get done. So that's how everything's being used right now. I think last year I jokingly coined the term, but I think it's becoming a thing. Instead of one book July, one book January. Because I feel like I need to simplify what all I'm using. I do still have the Happy Planner that I can go back to if I decide that I need to make a ton of notes or whatever for my YouTube channel and my Etsy store. But I've had so much going on pretty much the entire month of December, culminating with having company in town for a couple of weeks, that I don't know, part of me just can't handle it. I just need to get away from everything that's going on and simplify and not make my life more complicated than it already is at the moment. So anyway, I am back in one book for January, and I really am enjoying the setup, and I will probably be in this for the foreseeable future. The only thing that will probably change is the cover, but I do like this size. It's slightly bigger than the personal, but it's not so wide as the A5, so it's just kind of that perfect in between. Anyway, I hope this video was helpful. Seeing what I'm using for 2020, I've been watching everybody else's setup videos, and I think it's probably a good sign that nobody has been able to tempt me away from what I'm doing into something else, because this is my current, not that it will not change, my current planner piece. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're interested in kind of seeing where I'm going, please go ahead and subscribe. I will probably put up a couple videos that I filmed in December with very minimal editing, because I would like to get them out so you can see them. One of them is on my annual review, and the other one is on my 2020 goals. Again, going back to lots of things going on, have not had time to sit down and do a lot of editing, but I do want to get them out there so that if you would like to get access to that information, that you have it. Anyway, I thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.